we label or call things. That way it's actually very useful to communicate. We describe this simple flower. Right? So when they say flower, they're the image of some flower. So it's this flower, by the way, they make by a friend. This is copper. I mean, lotus flower made out of copper. So then when they say, okay, the lotus flower made out of copper, and of course you have different envision what it look like for different, unless you see the image of it, right? And so if I was okay, and then so this is the oximeter here, I mean saturation and the pulse. And when you see the device, put in your finger and this to show you the number, and you can say, all right, that's what we're talking about. So we at least communicate. And of course, I want to bring in the knife here, and I say, okay, this is called a knife, and the knife, the sheet, and this, and then we go into more specification. This is CPMT 15 heat treat with the maximum hardness that's about 69, but tempered down to 65 Rockwell hardness. All these things. Okay, so this video is okay. It's about, so we call something. So that's a label. And then we describe what it does. For the knife, okay, what it's for, okay, for cutting, but then because it's a blade like that, and they can do a lot of things, and they can be actually non-knife use and many things else. And so we are good at labeling, calling something, and somewhat knowing what something does. And so, I mean, I got a bottle here for a reason here. It says, let's say I'm breathing, my breath, my tidal volume is 500 milliliters, just like about this bottle here. And this part here, the dark part I put here is called dead space. So the ventilation for the alveolar is only about 350 milliliters. So that's where the air changes in your lung, right? So that sort of describe, okay, the breathing and what it does. Okay, that is about air movement, but then the gas exchange. And so you go into it, and then you describe it and say, okay, do we know a single thing that actually we know what it is?
Right now would be a great time to do it.
And if you don't know what it is, describe what it does. It's merely an interpretation or a guessing. Because if you don't know what it is, you can never sure know what it does. Right? So the reason here is, you know where it's level here. This is liquid in here, so it's level. There are purpose for it. Before that, let me bring in a picture. And an alien coming down to this planet, and you're going to see this illustration, this structure. Certain awesome structure. It's complicated. It's more than a turbine and everything else. You say, wow, it looks like some sort of biological thing. Yes, it's a bird lung air sac. And we try to describe, we call that, okay, the bird lung air sac, right? Avian respiratory system, right? Part of it. Anyway, And then you can say, okay, let's try our best to try what it does. Are you sure? And you say, okay, so what is it? Well, then you have to go into, you have to understand all the membrane and all the tissue and all the fluid and everything else and the air, and then you have to say, so therefore, do we know what air is? So atom, and okay, when you go further and further. So that's why I say we don't know a single thing what it is. And you say, well, but we are so good at what something does. Okay, again, this is the leveler. This is a piece of a nail. Oh, this is the knife. And it's a piece of nail. I say, well, what is it? I say, okay, I cut a nail into this chunk. Okay. What you call, what this just does? What it does? What makes this motion? Gravity. So we label this action forces as gravity. So you understand what I meant, everything. So if I let go of something, and it will fall, right? Okay, that's okay. And so this is what it is. This is a weird little, little syringe with a little toothpick that I taped together. And so now you have to look closely. When I put this thing in here, this thing rests at the bottom. You can see the line, it rests at the bottom. You say, obviously, and obviously when I tilt it and see, remember the water here, okay? Then I tilt it and it pass horizontal, it fall down. And if I put this in here upside down, okay, let me do it again. It's too fast. Let go of my finger. Obviously. And you say, well, gravity, right? So we describe what this does, this particular thing does. Right? And so, of course, if I put it there, you can see it at the bottom. And when I tilt it, again, why do I repeat it? Because you need to look closely. Maybe something that you don't know, or the word know what something does. This box behind here. Now, again, I put in a box, so we call it black box. So I put tape and I put the ink over here and things like that, right? And so I say, okay, this box. So relatively speaking here, and here the background. Hopefully, the close-up look good. Let me bring it closer. Closer. Right there. Let me check. It looks pretty good. All right. So this thing here, again, water, flat, that horizontal, and I just put into this hole here. Of course, you just fall down right there. All right, the hole right there. That's just a hole I put into the side of the black box. Okay, so now if I put this nail into that slot, remember, instead of my finger holding it, now you can see the air and everything out here. It's not like anything that changed. And so I'm going to put this thing in this hole, right? And you can say, okay. And now I'm going to tilt it relative to the water, please, right here. Ta-da! I'm going to tilt it. And I say, wait, I haven't fall out. Why is that? When I just showed before it fall down. I keep on tilting it. Tilting it. Tilting it. Just remember this little cylinder with toothpick at the end there. You can actually see, you can pause the video and see it. And I'm tilted and tilted, and you can see the toothpick and the thing tilted all the way. It's upside down, and it's still on there. And I said, well, let you tilt back slowly. Slowly. And I said, well, now I'm going to put it, all right side up. But there's a gap. There's a gap. It's not at the bottom. Why don't I push on it? Wait, this water here. Right. Okay, let me put it down so I can free my hand and hold something. So, obviously there's a gap. Yeah, that's kind of strange. Then we got a pan and let me tilt it straight up a little bit. Hey, straight up. Okay, here you go. And if I push it down, it keeps wanting to go up. So it's levitating. That's kind of odd. Why is it levitating? But if I put it upside down, and it's suspending. And if I, come on water, okay. And if I press it up, I have to edit because problem with the device. Now I can press it up, and it kind of suspend, but it doesn't want to stay. Closer. So, after sheet lengthy things, do you know what it is? You know what this sort of does. Do you know what this black box is? Does this black box exist? Yes, it does, because right here. But inside this black box, just even to label it, something you can call it something like versus like a knife or this oximeter. And of course, back in the beautiful flower. So if I were going to communicate with anybody out there, what are these things? What behind this box that they're able to do that? Right? So, science, the principle of science, it's about explore, about critical of what you think you know, and then you re-examine it so that you can improve to understand it. It's level of understanding that you might be able to call something at a more base foundation of things, right? Or more like you're talking about when I'm talking about the knife, and you say the metal, and the metal you can say that it's a crystal structure, and they hold together by van der Waals forces. And then, okay, inside the atom, of course, you end up with the proton and neutron and electron, and they have all these forces, right? And you're talking about blah blah, and you go on, you go all the way, and if you make into quantum or something, you talk about all the quantum things. But still, these are just labeling. And so you can say Doa would be the foundation, and you call its foundation a label. But at the end of the day, that thing they call gravity, of course, nobody knows, right? So therefore, you don't know what it is. And so you describe other forces in the same manner, whether it's magnetic, whether or not electric, I mean. and any other thing, and we call things. So be scientific or be critical. When you settle, that means you're so sure you know, you stop looking. That when you're actually not learning, or you might equivalent to be close. But that relative to the perspective of human, though. You see, whether we understand or not, the universe is going to keep on doing what it does. And so, if you sit back and you think about things, and if you can, comments below. Do you know? Human know? One thing that is the fundamental, very fundamental, as deep as you can, what it is. Rather than a bunch of labels, whether it's Higgs field, Higgs boson, that's just the two are just a label. And or you can say, perturbation, that again, a description of something that you have no idea what it is. Thanks for watching.